You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Welcome to Keeping Up with Conroe, hosted by Visit Conroe. I'm Jody.
And I'm Shannon.
And we're here to highlight upcoming events and local businesses in the area. We are here live on the second Tuesday of every month from 11 a.m. And after the show airs, we will post on podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, all the fun stuff. So tune in regularly to Keeping Up with Conroe. Today, our guest will be Denton Florian with Spirit of Texas Bank. He'll be talking today about San Jacinto Day celebration. And then we have Frank Jackson, who's going to talk about Conroe music. And then we'll have Ron Stein and Fred Wagner with the Texas Triumph Car Registry. So we're going to have a fun-filled day of events.
Lots of stuff going on.
Yes. We have Denton here with us. Hi, Denton.
Hi, how are you guys?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Great to be here.
Good.
Well, can you believe it's already April?
Yes.
Yes, you can. and the weather is gorgeous.
It is.
And it's going to be amazing for your event later this month.
We're looking forward to it. Very excited.
Great. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what the event is? And it's on April 20th this year, correct?
That's correct. That's a Friday evening. It's just a celebration of San Jacinto Day. You know, we need to celebrate our Texas history, celebrate our heritage, and we want to shine the light on some of the people from Texas history that really, in our view, haven't gotten their due. You hear a lot about, the usual suspects, Sam Houston and Crockett and Travis and all those guys, and that's fine. But there were really a lot of people who did some amazing things. So each year we recognize some of those folks.
And how many years have you been doing this?
This is the second.
Okay.
Oh, good.
But we're going to do it every year.
How'd y'all come up with this idea?
It was really Dean Bass's idea, but it just fits with our corporate, brand and culture and everything, and it's what we're about. We're about, Texans helping Texans and learning about our history and our heritage, and this is a big part of it.
So this is Friday, April the 20th, and it starts at what time?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. And what can we expect? What's going to happen?
Well, there's a Texas country artist, Shay Doman, that's going to give a concert, and that'll probably last about an hour or so. We're going to be honoring the beloved and retiring superintendent of Conroe ISD, Don Stockton, super guy, and he's got an incredible career. It's time, and he made a decision to retire. Against the wishes of everybody, but good
Mine
for them.
too.
Yeah, right. So we're thrilled that he and his wife are going to be with us, and we're going to be able to recognize his contribution. I think he's been in education 38 years or something like that, 34 of them in Conroe.
Oh, wow.
So, this is an individual that has probably touched more of our families than any other single person in Montgomery County.
Great.
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody who's got a broader reach than he does.
Awesome.
Somebody has big shoes to fill.
He does? Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Be a hard position to fill, I'm sure, after
Right.
that kind of a career. Absolutely. And what's the cost for your event?
The cost is zero.
That's
It's
awesome.
a free event, so we just want everybody to come and enjoy themselves, have a good time.
And it'll be out on the grounds, out
Right.
in front of Spirit of Texas Bank, right on
Right.
West Davis Street. So now parking could also be kind of a big issue. Where do you suggest?
Last year we had a shuttle that ran. It's really kind of around the corner. It's not any great distance, but it's a great point. We don't have enough parking on the grounds of the bank to handle everything that's going on there. So we've arranged for some off-site parking, and there's a map to that on our Facebook page. That you guys are welcome to share that. But it's there's a park and ride area underneath I-45 right there by I'm blank. What is the road right there by the library?
Yes.
It's Metcalf.
Okay. All right. Well, there's a park and ride under there, and they'll be parking there, and we'll run a shuttle.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the overpass right directly in front of the library and the flag park. So.
Yeah, is that 2854?
It is 2854.
Okay, that's what it was, 2854. Yeah.
There you go. So, yeah, we're excited about everything that y'all been doing over there, and the new building. How's it coming along?
It's coming along very well. They're very well.
Right.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about the statue earlier while we were waiting on you. So maybe tell us a little bit about that statue and the significance of that to Texas history.
Well, it's the only 3D, I guess, or 4D, whatever you want to say. It's the only depiction of the figure that's on the San Jacinto battle flag that is, not on a flag or a piece of paper or anything, as far as we can tell. It's a 9-foot statue on a 7-foot pedestal. The pedestal is hand-carved travertine marble. And inside the pedestal is there's a little porthole on the back side of it with an eternal flame, and there in the eternal flame was lit by Sam Houston IV, who sadly passed away about a year ago. But that was a great event to light that. And the statue was gilded in 23.75 karat gold. It was done by Conroe's own Craig Campobella, and when the sun hits that statue, it's just amazing. Really beautiful.
Well, I have to say, have you been out to the bank yet?
I haven't.
Oh my gosh, I had a great tour with Denton and the rest of the crew, and Mr. Campobella was there as well. And it is like a museum. It's not a bank. It literally is a museum. I mean, there is so much Texas history inside of that facility.
And one of the things I should say we're giving away is a limited edition photograph, one of 100, that of Texas Lady Liberty. And signed and numbered by Craig. And so for the people who like our event, share the event on Facebook and like our Facebook page, they're automatically entered in the drawing to
I think I
win the
actually did
photograph.
that last week.
Did you?
So,
Well,
yes.
good. All
Good.
right.
And we'll make sure and share it on our
Yes.
Facebook page so that our listeners can certainly find it very easily, one way or the other.
Yes, definitely. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about today? Is there any exciting stuff going on at the bank?
Oh, there's always exciting stuff going on. We're busy, so I'm not sure what to say about it really, but we'd love for you guys to come by, and if you haven't been inside the bank, we'll show you around what's in there, the art and the artifacts. We like to say we have more guns and knives than any bank in the United States.
This is very true. And the wallet,
We do have William Travis's wallet.
I think that's fascinating.
In a shadow
wow.
box. It's I don't know where Dean found it, but he found it somewhere at some heritage auction site or something, and he snatched it. So for a bank like Spirit of Texas Bank, having William Travis's wallet is pretty cool.
Kind of cool. And the sculptures and the art in there are just absolutely amazing. And then the grounds, when they're complete, will be very, very nice. You want to talk a little bit about the plan for kind of how you're tying it into the flag park and all of that?
Well, sure. We have 16 acres there, and I guess in 25 words or less, that's going to be developed out into. We're building the third building right now. There will be another bronze that Craig is going to work on. That
With a fountain?
There will be a fountain in front of it. We're going to build the Yellow Rose Theater, which will hold somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000, probably closer to 2,000 seats. That's going to be beautiful. There's a major hotel chain that's going to put a convention center somewhere between around 250 rooms.
Oh, wow.
And we're talking to some
nice to have.
restaurants, and when it's done, it's going to be a strong addition to Conroe specifically and Montgomery County in general.
And downtown, I think that it's just going
Downtown,
to
yeah.
totally kind of capstone that side of downtown and then help spur the growth the rest of the way over. So
It'll be a destination.
Oh.
It'll be a place where people come and spend time and enjoy the arts, and they come to Conroe for a lot of reasons, but we want to give them more reasons to come here, and we want to enhance the art community.
100%.
Yes.
We're with you. And I will say that Denton is newly appointed to our advisory board for the Tourist Advisory
Congratulations.
Council. So we're really excited to have his Texas history expertise and his help in continuing development of this whole region. So we're really excited to have you on board. And our next meeting is next week. So
Yes, it is.
Okay.
we're looking forward to having you.
Fun to be here.
Thank you.
And as always, any other events that the bank is involved in or anyone is involved in, we love to know what's going on so that we can help promote those. Everything we do as the Convention and Visitors Bureau is free of charge. We post it on our Facebook page, on our newly redeveloped website that Jody's been working very, very hard
Very
on.
excited about it.
It's not quite done, but the images are looking really good. And there's so much going on, like you said, in Conroe that We want to make sure, and April is a great busy month. Typically, knock on wood, we'll have some good weather. And it's just great to be able, for whatever reason, people are coming to Conroe, whether they're coming in for business or they're here for a conference or they're coming in for a theater production or whatever. It's great to have that one and done kind of things, but we want to give them multiple things to do and continue to say, look, here's all that Conroe has to offer. So absolutely.
Yes.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and take a break. Thank you, Denton.
Thank you for having me. It's great to
coming
be here.
on and talking with us this morning. And we look forward to San Jacinto Day.
We do too. Thank you.
Thank you.
And let's plug it one more time. The Facebook page or the website that would have more information.
Spirit of Texas Bank. Our Facebook page, just search Facebook for Spirit of Texas Bank, and you'll see the event listed there, posted there. Yeah.
Perfect. And we'll copy it and share it if we haven't already, which I think we have, but
Yes.
we'll make sure that they can find it in multiple locations on visitconroe.com.
Thank you. And we'll take a quick break, but stay tuned because up next we'll be talking with Frank Jackson, and you're listening to Keeping Up with Conroe. Host Conroe.
Listen in Mondays at noon to hear Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
Don't forget to download the Lone Star Community Radio app from your Google Play or Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM. That's Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1. If you are on the computer, bookmark irlonestar.com as your internet radio station. A Lone Star Community Radio. Broadcasting 24/7 from the heart of downtown Conroe, Texas.
And we're back. You're listening to Keeping Up with Conroe. I'm your host, Shannon,
And I'm Jody.
and we're with Visit Conroe. And we have our next guest. We've got Mr. Frank Jackson here, and he is going to tell us all about the music vibe in Conroe.
Yes, hello. How you guys doing?
Hi, Frank.
Good.
Thanks for coming on.
You bet.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background in music,
Okay.
and then we'll kind of jump into what Conroe's got to offer.
All right. Well, I've really been around Conroe since the old CISD system all the way through as a kid, growing up just south here in Oak Ridge, which was really Conroe, 77301 back then.
So I'm a Conroe High School graduate, but I have an
so-
Oak Ridge graduate.
I've always been around that locally here. Now I'm a member in Honorable Reverend Sleepy Ray's band at the Vineyard Church of Conroe down here in San Jacinto in Dallas.
Okay.
So we play around every year. We've been doing the rodeo every year and the Christmas parade. So that's been kind of fun locally to be that and watch that grow. That whole parade and stuff's been going really well.
But you have a paid job,
Well,
too.
yeah, my day job is actually, for the last 20 years, I've been distributing Texas music and helping a lot of people through Smith Music Group. We make live at Billy Bob's recordings in Fort Worth at the world's largest honky-tonk, Billy
Yep.
Bob's, Texas. So we've
Have
been
you been
doing
there,
that.
Shannon?
Of course I have.
Yeah.
It's a tourist attraction. I don't
Yeah.
like country music too much, but I've been to Billy Bob's.
Well, some of this Texas music country kind of rocks and goes multiple ways, so there's a little bit for everybody there.
Yep.
Yeah, so
She
we've
gives
done.
me a hard time.
Does
Because I
she?
am a Texas country fan.
Yeah.
Huge fan.
Well, we recorded 50 live albums. We're about to do our 50th artist, which is a local guy here, Josh Ward. We're going to
Yes.
record him in June on the 29th at Billy Bob's for a live at Billy Bob's CD and audio, video concert. and
I actually
the works.
I was in Green at Green Hall a couple weeks ago, and he'll be at Green Hall
Yeah.
here pretty quickly.
He's grown a lot. Actually, he's out at the fairgrounds on May 5th.
Yes.
For his Tonk Fest. He's bringing him Jake Worthington, Jerry Birmingham. So they have tickets on sale right now that you can get through Cavender's and online.
Cavender's?
That'll be a great local. So, that just shows the growth of what's really going on for a local guy to grow, to be able to put enough people in the fairgrounds is a big deal. I mean, it's.
And he performed at the Montgomery County Fair last year, and so
Yeah.
he had a big following coming
He's
out?
been, I've been helping him distribute his music now for about 4 or 5 years, and every year he keeps growing and reaching more fans and then getting a larger audience. So things are going well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, one of the things I told you, you and I have talked about this, but I've only been with the Conroe CVB since October, and before I accepted the position, my husband and I came and spent some time in Conroe, in and around Conroe. And one of the things that was a deciding factor for me is we walked around in downtown, had lunch at Red Brick Tavern, and walked around and poked our head in some of the other venues, and they all have permanent stages and posters out on the window of the singer-songwriter nights and the live music that happens in downtown almost every night of the week. And that's a big selling point for us. My husband is a musician. And so that is something that I think is just really kind of it's on the cusp. It's fixing to really take off for Conroe. And I mean, in downtown, I think we've got 4 venues currently. I had lunch with you and
Raymond McDonald.
Raymond yesterday, and he was saying that even the Vineyard Church could be offered up as a venue for some music events. They've got little stage setups. So there's just so much going on.
It's really a great vibe down here growing. And, 15 years ago, it was nothing. I mean, there was no place to go really to play or do anything outside the fairgrounds. That was the traditional thing with the rodeo and stuff. But like in town, there was Very Far Touch did a little bit. That's, they touched on that a little bit, which is now, I think, called April's.
Tuts
Got
at
that-
April's.
Yep.
Yes.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, so you have Southern Star Brewery. That's also going really well. As you mentioned, the Corner Pub, Red Brick, the Pacific Yard House. That's all right here.
Martin's.
Yeah, Martin's for the special events and things. So just day in, day out, there's plenty to do already here, which is great. Not counting the special events that do come up.
Yeah, and we were talking
in addition
about
to that.
some of those events. I mean, including outdoor events, because we've also got Founders Plaza and Heritage Place, and we can close down the streets if we need to for an outdoor stage. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity, and we do for Friends of Conroe Cajun Catfish Festival. We've got the 2 theaters, so we can use those, and we do for Sounds of Texas. I keep wanting to call it Sounds of Music, but it's Sounds of Texas music.
Which is coming up.
Which is coming up, and a bunch of other events. I think that we're looking at doing something at Pacific Yard House.
This summer I'm trying to put together a free Texas music series Tuesday night from the Pacific Yard House to where it'll be broadcast on the air from the local country station KVST, K-Star.
K-Star.
And I think that'll really help us get some bigger bands in here that normally you couldn't fit into these smaller venues because price reasons, but being broadcast on the air and making Conroe that destination, I think is going to help rise the tide a little bit for everyone.
Absolutely, and then we have a meeting later today about the kind of restarting the Conroe Americana Music Festival, and I've asked Frank to help me out with some of that, and we'll be setting a date. We skipped a year to kind of regroup and get our feet back on the ground after 2017's event, and so we will be planning that for spring of 2019, and we'll have our first meeting today to start getting our ducks in a row.
Yeah.
So we've got all kinds of stuff going on.
Plenty of things going on around here, that's for sure. So.
Absolutely. Maybe tell us a little bit about how people can find out about whether they're looking for somebody to perform at an event that they're hosting, or find out about what's going on in Conroe.
Oh, if they wanted to hire someone to play, well, if I was hiring, there's multiple ways. Primarily the booking agent of whoever's going to be hiring is a good way to find that. Look on their website to see either who their manager or their booking agent is. That's a good route to reach someone. That's where it all starts in hiring someone, unless you know them or know them personally. You got to go through the chain of command, which usually starts with a talent buyer or a booking agent or a manager.
Right.
And locally, when we get the live thing kicked off here in a month or two, we're gonna register. We have Conroe City Limits.
I love that.
I love that name.
I'm gonna put that as kind of like in general all around the whole city, including a little bit of Montgomery County, the county. And then I also have downtown Conroe Music.com that will just focus on basically the things in the corridor, from the Yellow Rose when it opens all the way to the tracks and downtown, just the core area.
And of course,
around the
we'll have
courthouse.
links on our site and
Absolutely.
we'll be sharing your stuff. So, but I love the ConroeCityLimits.com idea to be able to really.
I couldn't believe it wasn't
I know.
taken, so I just will
I
might as
know.
well spin that off of what Austin does and make it our own little Conroe City Limit.
I think it'll
I
be
like
really
it.
fun.
Yeah.
And then I just actually, when the mail came today, I got a Texas music magazine. So interestingly enough, because you and I were talking about that just
Yeah.
yesterday, so it came in the mail, and that's a great tool. And we'll be looking at some advertising opportunities to help publicize what's going on in Conroe around the state. Because while these are great things for residents to take advantage of the festivals or the concerts, and especially free concerts at a restaurant where you can take your family, eat dinner, and enjoy some local music at the same time, some good live music at the same time. It is something that we want to promote as Conroe is a great destination for a variety of reasons, and the live music is,
Yep.
definitely a big part of all of that.
That magazine's great. It's a nice color glossy. It's not a newspaper, and they actually have them in retail stores too, like Barnes and Noble and Walmart. They distribute them there as well as their subscription list. So it really just targets on all great music of Texas, in Texas, and it's a good publication.
Great.
Yeah.
Anything else that we want to touch
Yeah.
on?
Well, Raymond McDonald's running for city council position 4, and I'm lucky enough to play with him and his band. A lot of people don't know he's an incredible musician, professional musician until he became pastor 17, 18 years ago here and moved his church in Uptown District here. He's playing May 1st, which is the last day of early voting, at the Pacific Yard House at 7 p.m. So I'd like to invite everybody out there for that and check that out.
Well, I had an opportunity to meet him yesterday, and I know that I did not make the candidate forum last night for the Art Alliance,
It
but
was-
I
yeah.
understand it was well attended
It
and
was.
some good discussions.
Yes, indeed. There's probably about 40, 50 people there
That's awesome.
from
so,
all kinds of art,
so get
not just music, everything.
I will remind, I think it's very important, and I have a child who's fixing to turn 18, so I've been preaching this to him as long as I can remember, but it is a privilege to be able to vote, and I think that everyone needs to exercise that privilege. So no matter who you are voting for, I always say
Absolutely.
you can't complain if you don't vote.
Well, there's
Right.
82,000 people in the city now, and last city election, I think it was about 3,000 people that voted.
And
So it's a very poor margin.
and I think that's across everywhere, but
just so
Yeah.
interesting to me that some people just don't care or not.
And the
Doesn't move 'em.
internet makes it very easy to do your research, educate yourself, and then get out and exercise your privilege to vote.
Absolutely.
So
I agree.
It is up to all of us to be able to take care of
That's
that.
right,
So
it
I'll
starts-
continue to plug that.
Early voting is on the 23rd. It starts on the 23rd.
There
So
you go.
just
Right around the corner.
Yes, ma'am.
Be here before you know it. Any
right.
other great events that or up and comers for music that you want to share with us?
I know this weekend, actually, at the fairgrounds, Shane Smith and the Saints are playing on Friday, Wade Bowen on Saturday.
That's right.
Two high quality.
That's for the fair.
Yes,
That's
for
for
the
the fair.
Montgomery County Fair, which used to be in Conroe until I guess it still is way up
It's
there in the
still
corner.
Conroe.
Yeah, right by the airport. So that's going on. Of course, the Tonk Fest May 4th with Josh Ward out there as well. April through September, you got the Heritage Park first Thursday, which is a
Yep.
great draw. Last week was the first week this year.
I saw the pictures. We were at a
Yeah.
different event. It was packed.
It was completely packed. That field across behind you on the Visitors Bureau was full of cars, and the streets were full.
Amazing.
The hill was full.
And
It's
that's
free.
It's a free event. It's great for bringing
Bring your lawn
families out.
chairs.
And it's also the farmers market at the same time.
Yeah.
So come out. There's food trucks. There's
Yep.
all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff.
Food trucks. There's a lot of things for the kids to play and do. So yeah, it was a great event for that. The Tequila and Taco Fest coming in September. That was a inaugural year last year, and that turned out to be a huge success.
Yeah, Jody
I
was
was
a.
Taco judge.
Were you?
Yes, I
All
was.
right,
She's
good.
already lobbying for it again this
I
year.
did.
Yeah,
I am.
there was some good tacos. That's for
They
sure.
were pretty delicious.
I'll be the tequila judge.
Yeah, I'd rather have the tequila judge too. Follow it up anyway. Then October the 12th through the 14th, you got the Conroe Cajun Catfish Festival, which last year I think had a record year of
They
attendance.
did.
Aaron Watson, another Texas country artist.
Well, it wasn't just Aaron; it was William Clark Green, a high quality of Flatland Cavalry. There were some really great
Josh Ward
bands.
was there as
Josh
well.
Ward was there the night before. Mike and the Moon Pies, Ameriquarium. There was excellent lineup last year.
That was the weekend before I started my job, so I did not attend it, but I will definitely be
She'll
there
be there.
this year.
Yeah, and I know Raymond was volunteering at the beer booth last year for that, and he was amazed at how much beer was sold in that 4 or 5 hour time. Yeah.
They have a good time, I think.
Yeah.
We do.
So, great. Well, there are lots of things coming up, lots of festivals, lots of events, lots of live music. I mean, Conroe really has a lot going on, and you can get all of that information on our website, visitconroe.com, or on our Facebook, which is also Visit Conroe. So, and then we'll be watching for your new websites.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll make sure to let you know whenever we get it all up and running.
Great. Well, I think we're going to need to take another quick break, and then we'll come back with Frank and wrap things up, and then we'll get on to our next guest. So, you want to take us out?
All right. We'll just keeping up. You're listening to Keeping Up with Conroe, hosted by Visit Conroe. Thanks.
Hispanic Chamber Connections with Dr. Carlos Sanchez, President of the Woodlands Conroe Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, featuring event announcements, member highlights, and more. Tuesdays at 1 p.m., broadcasting from the heart of Conroe, Texas on irlonestar.com and Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1.
A Lone Star Community Radio is ready for the summer. If you or anyone you know is looking for summer internship opportunities, a Lone Star Community Radio is a great place to grab the mic and be on the air. A Lone Star Community Radio offers a great opportunity to those interested in learning about the radio world all year round. Be an on-air personality, talk show producer, or YouTube, TV, podcast editor. Contact the station at info@irlonestar.com or call the station's message line at 936-647-3776.
And we're back. You're listening to Keeping Up with Conroe. I'm Shannon.
And I'm Jody.
And we are with Visit Conroe. Before the break, we were still visiting with Frank Jackson in
Yes.
regards to Conroe music. And we just wanted to bring you back just for one more thing. There was something, actually, Frank and I met each other, it's been a couple months ago
Yeah,
now.
December, I think.
Yeah, and we were talking about a new initiative, relatively new initiative that the state of Texas has undertaken. And you and I have started kind of chiseling away at that project to
Yes.
see how we can do it. Maybe we could talk a little bit about that before you.
Yeah, it's the music-friendly community, which is through the Texas Music Office that serves under the Governor Abbott office. That office has been around since '95, promoting music and through the whole state, everything. And currently, there's about $95 billion worth of revenue that comes from music in general, everything, venues, hotels, performance, everything, merch. So that's a pretty big deal. And they haven't even found everybody that's a professional, believe it or not, which is amazing.
Yeah, as we started kind of making our lists of who would be involved from Conroe on the local level, I mean, it wasn't just the musicians and the venues. I mean, it was everything from production to lighting to sound to equipment,
Stages.
guitar, state. Yeah, it's just amazing when you really start thinking about how much of an impact that makes. It's very wide reaching, I guess,
Yes.
is what I mean. So,
Yeah, it reaches out good. There's a lot of all professionals, really. I mean, calling all professionals in Conroe.
Yeah.
You know, if we don't know who you are, get in touch with us at the Visitors Bureau. That way we know who you are, because we're really trying to gather everybody that we can to create a board, an alliance to help move and help new musicians and new artists that come up the pipeline, to show them how to get permits to do a venue, what to do, how to do their song stuff, how to register their music,
how to promote it,
everything. Yeah. So
Get your name out there.
it's going to be a big task for us to do that, and really we just need to make sure that the support in the city is there from people and the professionals.
Yeah.
You know, not part-timers, but people who actually make a living somehow, some way in the music
And
or
the part-timers
entertainment.
too, but we definitely need those.
You need those too,
heavy
but
hitters.
you got to have people who are actually making a living doing it, because that's where the revenue comes
Absolutely. And I understand, and we've started kind of making that list. So absolutely, if anyone's listening and is interested or makes a living in the music industry in some form or fashion, please reach out to us and let us know. We'll get you on that list. We were hoping to have a meeting this month, but I think we need to do a little more of our homework first
Yes.
and get our ducks in a row before we start moving forward with the real process. It's very similar to the art and cultural district that the city of Conroe is already going after. That's through the Commission on the Arts. This is through the governor's office, and it would give us a designation just like Austin, Lubbock, Houston.
San Antonio.
San
Houston,
Antonio.
not yet. San Antonio, Lubbock, Denton.
So,
Fort
Denton.
Worth.
yeah.
Yeah, it started with Fort Worth, was the very first
So
one.
there you go. So we're
Wow.
gonna hopefully be up there with them eventually, and Frank and I'll continue to work together on that, and
Yeah.
we'll see where it
Exciting
goes.
time for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So anything else you want to add before we switch gears?
We'll just get out and go see some live music. If it doesn't get you fired up, your wood's wet, because there's plenty of
Right.
plenty of opportunities to come see people. All kinds of music. Primarily a lot of songwriters, singer stuff.
Yep.
A good Red Brick Tavern, Pacific Yard House, Corner Pub.
And we publicize them all on
Yes.
visitconroe.com.
Yes.
Excellent.
So,
Got a great couple months ahead of us.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
going to be a good year of music.
Yes.
well, I think we're going to take a break,
Yeah.
switch gears. Our next guests are with the Texas Triumph Registry, so another event that's happening this month we're very
Yes.
excited about. So we're going to hear from them here shortly. So we're going to take a quick break, switch out everybody.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, and we'll hear more on what's going on in Conroe. You're listening to Keeping Up with Conroe, hosted by Visit Conroe.
For those of you who like your partners, your gumbo, and your music salty, well, we're here to help with the music. Julian Shea here, host of Lone Star Country Nights Thursday, your weekly dose of roots and Americana and all the music that makes this part of the country special. We stir in Western swing, honky-tonk, Zydeco, Texas blues, outlaw country, and put a pinch of red dirt, and then we smoke it over a slow fire. Then listen to the results Thursday nights on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 and worldwide at irlonestar.com.
Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's radio station with talk, music, weather, and traffic for Montgomery County. Have a question, comment about one of our shows? Want to know how to reach a host? Just contact the station on irlonestar.com or call in and leave a message at 936-647-3776. Get involved with your community with Lone Star Community Radio.
And we're back. You're listening to Keeping Up with Conroe. I am your host, Shannon.
And I'm Jody.
And we are with Visit Conroe, and we've saved the best for last.
That's
We
right.
have Ron Stein and Fred Wagner with the Texas Triumph Register Car Club.
Good morning.
And we're so glad to have you, and we're really excited about your upcoming event.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so y'all want to tell us a little bit about the Texas Triumph Register?
Sure. I'm the president, Fred Wagner. I'm the president of the Texas Triumph Register. It is it's a organization that is dedicated to preserving and enjoying Triumph automobiles, which were a British sports car that was made from the 50s up until the beginning of the 1980s.
Okay.
And we have currently, even though the club started off small with just a loose group of Triumph owners in about 1981, currently we have 191 member families
Oh, wow.
with probably a little over 300 members, individual members, and we have about 220 cars between everyone.
And that's just in the state?
We're actually just the Houston, Galveston, and surrounding areas.
Oh,
we're-
wow.
That's a
yeah.
lot.
We're the largest club, a Triumph club in the state of Texas and in this region.
And it's an international club as far as the overall effects of it. But we call them LBC, Little British Cars, that we really enjoy, and we love driving them and fixing them, and we enjoy going on tours, and we'll get into that. Fred can talk a little bit more about the tours and some of the things that we do as a club.
So now Triumphs are cars. They're British cars. Are there different types of Triumphs? Are there?
Yeah, there are a number of models of Triumphs. Typically, you consider the little open two-seater sports car, the convertible. Those went through the TR2s, the 3s, 3As, 3Bs, TR4, 4A, TR250, TR6, TR7, and TR8. That was the last model. There's also some other models that didn't fall in the TR series. We had Spitfires, the little small British cars. People had what's called Sport Sixes and Heralds. There were Stags, of course, and there's others that weren't as popular, but they're out there too. And Ron actually has probably the grandfather of all Triumphs.
What do you have?
I've got a 1936 British Standard 9 horsepower. And the reason it's the grandfather is that when the Triumph Company was in business early on, they ran into some financial difficulties. And the Standard Motor Car Company, who was an older car company, took them over and allowed them to make cars. So on the nameplate of the Triumphs, it says Standard Triumph, and the parts for Triumphs are called stand parts. So my 1936 9 horsepower, and that's 9 horsepower at rest, at idle. It's 27 horsepower at speed.
Well, not very much speed.
Right, exactly. But that is the grandfather. And some history is kind of interesting because when you're dealing with cars, you're always dealing with history and some interesting items, is that in England in the early days, you were taxed on two things: the number of rooms you had in a house and the horsepower. The number of rooms you had in the house included closets. So that's why in England, if you visit, there are large rooms with chifferobes and armoires, because rather than a closet to be taxed on. And also the horsepower was at idle, with just running, idling, and not under power. So it's a 9 horsepower car, and with a lot of very cuteness, and it will be at the concourse.
I was going to ask, do you drive it a lot?
Well, it's not really a road car for Texas because there's the speed and the roads, but it is a cute car just to go around the back roads, and it'll go 50, 60 miles an hour.
Okay.
But it's a little underpowered. It's not
Just a little.
When you get on a ramp going up to, God forbid, a freeway or a highway, it's really, if you're behind it, you're saying, that darn car, why is that going so slow? It's
I
cute.
missed the light.
It's cute, but not
Move
up
along.
to speed. Right, exactly, exactly. And the people that have the various different models, the TR3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, they're very passionate about that model. And there's a little sort of intrigue within the club of people who just love Spitfires. And, people make fun of the Spitfires versus the Stags, which are V8s. And most of the cars are either 4 cylinders or 6 cylinders. So there's an interrelationship between everyone in the club touting that their model is the best.
Awesome. Well,
A friendly rivalry.
Yes,
Of
of course.
so great car club, interesting cars, and when is it going to be in Conroe?
Okay, we're having the Vintage Triumph Register South Central Regionals on April 19th through the 21st at La Torretta and Lake Conroe. We are, as a chapter of the Vintage Triumph Register, the South Central region includes Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Tennessee, and I think Kansas and Missouri.
Oklahoma also, really.
Yeah. And so we've got cars from most of those states coming in, and there's about 5 clubs here in the state of Texas that are also sending members too. We actually have one member. His father lives up in, I think, Rochester, New York.
Correct.
And his father is driving his Triumph down to
Oh, wow.
participate. And we have another person from another club in Texas whose father is coming in from South Carolina. So we do have a competition for the longest traveler there. But
Wow.
right now we have approximately 80 registrations, which is about 85 cars. Some people are bringing more than one car, and about 162 attendees for the region.
I think that's more than when you and I first talked.
Yes, it is. Oh, yeah, it's grown.
That's
And
great.
through our PR and our efforts to connect with other clubs, they are, and this is a destination location. La Toretta and Conroe is a destination location because a lot of people have their vacations around their trips, okay, their tours, their concours. So Conroe is a perfect place, and La Toretta is a great resort, and that's one of the reasons why we had it there, to attract people to our event, because this is a regional event.
And is it open? Is there any part of your conference or event that the public can come out and view some of these really cool cars?
Most of the event is centered around driving events and events that are limited to the attendees. But Friday morning, if anyone has that Friday morning off, they can come out to La Toretta, and along the lakefront, we are having our concourse show. And the concourse show is the show by which judges will go and they will judge the cars against a certain standard, and then they award prizes to usually the first, second, and third place. But they will be set up for approximately from about 10 o'clock in the morning to about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when the judging takes place. That's when the cars will be out on the lawn. And we certainly invite the public to come out and take a look at these great little British cars.
I'm excited.
And it's a free event.
I'm a mechanic's daughter, so I love all things cars.
Well, it's amazing. We have a lot of members and wives and girlfriends on the distaff side that really are into these cars, that help work on them, that encourage the husbands or boyfriends to go on tours with them, with the top down and the hair blowing. It's cold, but they're real true sports people.
Yeah, and it most people think of a car club, they'll think of just, oh, that's a guy thing. We have a number of women in our club and in other clubs who, they drive the autocross, and they'll race their cars at these events, and they take as much pride in showing their cars and working on their cars as any guy does. So this is not something that's just, I'm going to beat my chest and say, oh, it's a guy thing. No, this includes everyone.
And the autocross is a low speed, agility and time speed event, and we have a couple of women that when the guys are against them, they really shudder because they say, whoa, they really have great time, they got great skill, they got great precision, and they got great accuracy, and it's a little discerning at the club meetings when we read the times off or after the event that so-and-so has beat me or them or et cetera. So it's a very inclusive.
Great. And not just for the show and the judging and the concourse show, but the autocross, but you said you'll be kind of going around town as well?
Oh, yeah.
Will you be coming to downtown, or?
Actually, most of our stuff will be on
by the lake?
the west side of I-45. It's a little difficult when you get 30 or 40 cars that are caravanning to a certain location to go through all the city streets. We're doing self-guided drives for people who are not currently in an event that's going on. We also have dinners out and breakfast runs that the people will be leaving La Toretta, and they will be heading to certain restaurants in the Conroe and the Montgomery area. We have then planned trips to local museums, drives through the Sam Houston National Forest.
Oh, wow.
And we've even offered, and they can do it on their own, we've even offered drives up to see Sam Houston or go up to the Texas Prison Museum.
Yep.
So we've gone ahead and provided everybody with something to do during the weekend, either a regular scheduled event or events on their own.
Well, and I want to jump in here that the Conroe Business and Convention Bureau has really risen to the occasion and give us a tremendous amount of information regarding what's around Conroe, what to see, what to visit, historical things, which every entrant is going to get one in their goodie bag. And I'm quite sure some of the people who are not in events will take advantage, because we're going to have a lot of visitors here that have never been to Conroe or to Texas before, or in Texas but never have been here, that will take advantage of the materials and information that you've provided for us. And that's a real thumbs up for you
Well,
people.
we
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah.
That's our
Yeah, we
job.
thank
but
you.
We're very, very excited that you are
Yeah.
taking advantage and really
Oh, we
kind of
are.
showcasing the entire region and the entire community. And while there may not be a specific time for our residents to get out and see you, they will see the cars in town.
yeah.
So they
Yes.
will
Yeah,
be all
they
over.
They'll see caravans of little Triumphs around, probably all through the 19th, 20th, and the 21st.
There are two sections, actually. The concourse, and concourse means the best of the best, and that's the car show at La Torretta.
That's the one that's being judged.
Judge.
Yes.
There's a second part of that on Saturday, which is being held on the two parking fields opposite the stadium, the football stadium, right behind Conroe High School. And that is the autocross, which is the agility and time. And then right next to that,
That's
there's,
going to be in the parking lot of the
that's correct, of the high school.
half-day parking lot.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And then right across the street from that is a smaller parking lot. And then we're going to have something called the Fun Canna. And that's an agility fun type of a thing where you might have the driver blindfolded and the
You're gonna have
Mate.
you'd have your passenger would have to direct you to how to
Right?
with a car.
Right, yeah.
You know,
I'm not sure I trust anyone enough.
Well,
You know, the
and this is not high speed, believe me.
you may have to have the driver may have to pick up a ball from a cone and pass it to the passenger
Wow.
and pass it to
Yeah,
the other
it's
side.
fun, and that's open to the public also.
That's
And
a lot
that's
of fun.
that's
on
Saturday
morning. It starts about 10 o'clock for the autocross, which is the supposed to, and then right next door is the Fun Canna. I don't know if they're going to be concurrent or.
Yeah, the autocross will be going from 9 to 3, and the Funcana will be 9 to 2. Now, understand that certainly if someone wants to come out and take a look and watch the cars in action, we invite that. But no one will be able to bring their car and participate
Oh,
in,
sure.
in the autocross or anything like that.
I want to be blindfolded and drive.
Yeah,
Come on, Shane, we have
And there's a
right?
food truck there. And it's off of Longmire Road, right in back of the high school football stadium. Of
Buddy
course,
Moorhead Stadium.
We'll make
Yeah,
sure
okay.
we put all this
Yeah.
information out there as well, because I think that it'd be really fun to get out there. I'm just thinking of the pictures that we could take and utilize for
Oh,
our
definitely.
publications. Having those cars drive through the forest would
Yes.
be really
Oh, yes.
a great
Oh,
image.
Yes.
and we certainly invite everybody to come to the concourse on Friday because that's
Okay.
going to be your opportunity to get close to the cars and actually talk to the owners and see the cars up close.
Look in the
Yeah.
engines.
Yes,
I'm all
exactly.
excited.
Right.
Well, thank y'all for coming. We appreciate y'all taking the time out.
And
telling
if
us.
anybody out there is listening and they have a Triumph and not a member of our club, you can go to www.texastriumphregister.org and find out about our club and find about the regionals if you have a Triumph and you haven't signed up yet.
Please do. Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
welcome you.
Definitely. Thank y'all again for coming.
Thank you.
And you can find out information about these events that we mentioned today, as well as a lot of other upcoming events on our website. Be sure and check out the new layout of the
Yes.
website. Jody, it's still a work in progress, but
Yes.
it looks awesome.
Thank you. All right. Thank y'all for listening to Keeping Up with Conroe.
We're here every second Tuesday of every month at 11 a.m. And after the show airs, we'll be sure and post it on podcast, YouTube, Facebook, social media. Check out our website, visitconroe.com, or follow us on social media at visitconroe.com, and tune in regularly to
See y'all
keep
next
up
month.
with Conroe.
Thank you for checking out this production of Lone Star Community Radio. Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station. Don't forget to check out this show and many others across the Lone Star Community Radio Network, either live on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, the Lone Star Internet Radio app, or irlonestar.com's live audio stream, and on replay on podcast, Channel 12's Our City TV in Conroe, or Channel 21 KVQT in Houston, and of course their YouTube channel. This production is copyrighted and all rights are reserved by Lone Star Community Radio. Have a question regarding this program or other Lone Star Community Radio shows? Want to sponsor or start your own show? Call the station message line at 936-647-3776 or email the station at lscrstudios@gmail.com.